To jump on. I can't see it now, of course. So, Facebook, what up? I need glasses. Let's see. All right.
Oh, there it is.
It's kind of weird because we can see ourselves.
Wait, it's in the past.
This might lag a little, but Facebook. As you can see, I need glasses. I am about to. I should probably not put it on full screen. Press play on the audio. Yo, 1, 2. All right, so why I can't see who's all on here. All I know is we got a few people watching, so that's all that matters. Welcome to the Morning Sun Podcast. I'm your host, TJ Two Braids. This is episode 6. And we got a special guest. So, you want to introduce yourself?
What up? What up? Most people call me JT. My artist name is TEN20. My real name is Jacob Thompson. So, whatever you like, whoever I am to you.
Yep. So, Tim says, where'd you get that couch, bro? It reclines if you watching. So, I could just take a nap on y'all. I won't, but someone gave it to me. But that's neither here nor there. If you make me an offer, I might sell it to you. I have a actual recliner too, single person, but it is dope. It's super dope. So, welcome to the Morning Sun Podcast. It's brought to you by Anchor FM, a free app. You could make your own podcast if you want to. It's super easy, user friendly. It goes on Spotify, Google Podcasts. Right now, the longest one to get on is Apple Podcasts, but they notified me saying it'll be on there within a couple weeks. We always broadcast first on Facebook Live, and then from there I upload it to YouTube, and then from there Anchor FM and Spotify. And you know, we've had some good discussions, some feedback on Facebook. We're averaging a few hundred people watching. YouTube less, Spotify less, but we're just glad you're joining us. If you ever want to be on the show, if you ever have any topics, some people have given me topics, hit me up. But so we're gonna jump in the first segment. The first segment today is about TEN20. So I'll just ask them what does TEN20 stand for?
Yeah, first of all, just shout out to the podcast. I've been listening on Spotify. It's been a blessing on my rides to and from work. And shout out to you for doing this. I will keep it up. TEN20 is actually based out of a Bible verse, Matthew 10:20. It says, "It will not be you speaking, but the Spirit of the Father speaking through you." Also, J and T are the 10th and 20th letter of the alphabet. So JT 10:20. Everything I write, I pray that it is the words of the Father speaking through me.
Amen. That's what's up. Super deep. It's cool when artists have meanings to their name. You know, some rappers is just Lil Tay. It's like
Lil Xan,
you
Lil
could,
Baby,
right?
Lil Booty.
I'm thinking when you become a grown man, how you still Lil, you know? But it is what it is. It's just funny, a joke. But no, that's cool that your name has a super significant meaning. So how long have you been making music?
Yeah, the first thing I ever did was spoken word. So I wrote a spoken word that was about 8 years ago now. And then I started rapping a while later. And it wasn't until about 3.5 years ago to date I dropped my first EP.
On this date? Or
Not
just give?
exactly,
Oh, okay. I was like, that's
but
crazy.
close. Close.
Cool. So, what about your new album? You just dropped a new album. Can you tell us the name of it, what it is, what it means, anything you want to share with us about your new album, man?
Yeah. Yeah, the new album, I could talk a long time about it because it's based off really my whole life. It's called Pressure Makes Diamonds. It takes you on the journey of me finding out I have a rare health condition that I'll most likely end up in a wheelchair, um, and processing through that. So there's a voicemail, there's storytelling on the album. There's some really deep emotional songs that I wrote when I was really struggling with that news, with that diagnosis. And then the album shifts where I realize in my life that pressure makes diamonds, or in other words, the most difficult, the most trying times actually produce the most durable and beautiful stones known in our world. So
That's what's up.
yeah, the most difficult things that you go through are what make you, if you allow it. If you allow it, a lot of people, they'll give up.
Right.
They hit a trial, and not to minimize anyone's trial, but they hit it, and then they quit, and then they stop pursuing their dreams. They stop living with purpose, and they just say, "Well, I've been through this. It's too hard. I can't live to my full potential." The album is basically just meant to encourage people who are struggling, who have difficult times, that that difficult time is not meant to break you. It's meant to make you, and it's meant to bring you into who you were made to be. And so I want to encourage everyone, man, to live in their purpose and live to their full potential. That's really my heart behind the album.
That's what's up. That's dope. I've heard the album. The album's dope. I heard it, some of it before it came out. We obviously had the show last weekend where you performed a lot of the songs, got to share more in depth about what it was, but super dope. I'm happy for you, proud of you. The thing I'll say is it's never easy to share about internal struggles, issues, but people need to hear it. People are definitely going through it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even I can look at some of the people who are watching. I know some of the people watching this right now are going through something because I know you personally. So it's cool that, pressure does make diamonds, and that we're all going. If not, you might not be going through something right now, but eventually you're going to go through something in life. And music is a universal language. And it's more relatable. Your fans, your fan base, everyone who listens to you and supports you can, it's always cool to have songs that are, more turn up or concert-y type, feel good and amp you up, work out to, but also like that there's a real side to you, which I think a lot of us forget about. We know our favorite artists and athletes, even, and other people. We fail to forget they're real people. They got families, marriages, jobs, struggles, issues. So it's super dope. How can we? Is there anything else you want to share about your music?
Yeah, you made me think, like, on the album. I attempt to put who I am into a project. So yeah, there is some deep, some emotional music, but there's also motivational and inspirational music, and then there's fun music, like, because I think there's something real about going through trials and having joy and having fun and enjoying life. So go check it out. It's on all streaming platforms. More importantly, I do have CDs. So, hit my DM and I got you.
Support local artists streams do not pay us.
No.
It's cool to get streams. I'm glad, for since we're probably, and you're probably glad people are listening, but it doesn't really help you make money, continue to make music, buy equipment, beats, whatever it is, support your family. So buy a CD, buy a couple CDs. How can we follow you on, where can people get a hold of you at?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram at TEN20 words, TEN20 words, 1020words.com. Yeah, I appreciate anybody who follows, supports, and I just hope that you get something out of it.
And he's legit, bro. He got his own website. That's how you know he made it. So, 1020words.com. Check it out. With that, man, we're gonna end this segment hopefully with a freestyle. So, can you drop a 16 for us or something?
I got you.
All right, go ahead, man. Acapella.
I got one verse to win you over. Go and check the lot. I ain't pull up in a Rover. I pulled up in the '05, and I can barely pay my bills, and that's no lie. But you never know if you make it till you go try. The game sink or swim, ain't no lifeguard. I know I'm blessed, even when my life hard. Been through a lot, sometimes I don't have words for it. I got a rare disease, and ain't nobody heard of it. Vision blurry from the tears that I cried. Lot of pain what you hear on my rhymes, but I never give up. I keep my head up, a baker with the yeast, how I'm trying to get my bread up. Ooh. I know I got a mission, so I stay grinding. And I ain't Stephen King, but I stay shining. Red rum, how I murdered the track, yo. Head dumb, if you think I won't be back, I'm bout it. Got the truth, so I shouted. Head up, never pouted. If I took a wrong turn, I rerouted. I had to do it one time for everybody that doubted. Just one time for everybody that doubted.
Hey. Appreciate it, man. Well, like he said, check him out at 1020words.com. His new album, Pressure Makes Diamonds. Follow him on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Share his video, man. Subscribe to his channel. Email him. Do something for a local artist. He does a lot more, which we're going to get into a little bit, but that was the first segment. So if you're watching or listening via audio, this is the Morning Sun Podcast. I'm your host, TJ2 Braids. You can follow us on YouTube at TJ2 Braids, Instagram at the Morning Sun Podcast. Brought to you by Anchor FM. It's going to be on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, everywhere you can find podcasts. If you don't want to look at me or whoever's on my show, you can always just listen. Shout out to Phil. He said, I don't want to look at you, but I'll listen via audio. So hopefully you are. But the second segment we're going to talk about is the role of a coach. We're both coaches and in different capacities, but something obviously had to strike a chord in us to make us want to be a coach in the first place. So I thought it would be cool to just talk about the role of a coach as coaches, but more importantly, maybe how we got to this place. And so we'll just kind of go back and forth, but if you want, or I'll go first, it doesn't matter, but we're just going to start by naming an influential coach in our own lives. So, I mean, I could even go first, but I remember Coach Ursino. He was the athletic director at West Seattle High School. He also happened to be one of my football coaches. He instilled in me something that was lacking. I was always super talented at football, even more so than, people think I'm good at basketball. I was way better at football. I've always been big. I was like 6'1" in like 6th grade. It's just insane. But he instilled in me like a passion and a desire and a dedication, and he made it so that I understood that even though I was a special talent, I couldn't do whatever I wanted. I couldn't break the rules. I couldn't skip practice. I couldn't be lazy in practice. as a captain, he held me to a higher standard, which doesn't always happen when you're one of the best players. Sometimes coaches can let you slack off, treat you differently, favoritism, and things that it's obvious to other people around. But one specific example that I'll never forget, and I've shared this to all types of different groups, but we got a brand new like grass and sod laid at the school. And it was Friday. They just got done. They were working on it all week at West Seattle High School. They finished on Friday. And so me and my friends and a lot of the football players were like, we're going to go and we're going to play on this new grass. It's going to be super dope. We're going to play football after school. And during, it was either lunch or gym time or something, Coach Ursino, he saw me and a bunch of the players from the team. And, we all, what's up, Coach? How you doing? He said, look, Valtierra and all y'all, listen, I swear to God, y'all better not go on that grass. This is new grass. Do not go on it. Even though it's done, we don't want anyone on it right now. Oh, yeah, sure, Coach, whatever you say. In the back of our mind, we're like, this dude's leaving for the day. He's not going to come back and check on the school. So we're like, we're about to play football. So we go over there after school. We play football. Somebody must have saw us, a faculty member. I don't know who it was. But the next day was actually one of our biggest games of the season. We were actually playing O'Day High School. They were like a super big school. And, hold up. Something happened with the broadcast. Someone probably calling me, bro. All right. My bad. So, back to the story. We had O'Day High School coming up the next day. So we I stayed at my friend's house. We go to school, get dropped off, getting ready to go to the game, and the coach just seems cool. I'm like, yeah, we must have got away with it. Nobody found out. Right when we're getting on the bus, he's like, wait a minute, stop, hold up. I got an announcement. He's like, Valtierra, come here. And I'm like, I don't know, what did I do? I didn't do nothing. I didn't know, I didn't know he was even mad at first. He's like, didn't I tell you to stay off the new grass? I'm like, what? He's like, I told you specifically y'all should not play on there. Now y'all gonna be in trouble. And he was like, you gotta do 100 push-ups and sit-ups or you're not going to the game. Now, mind you, I was one of the team captains, one of the best players on the team, and I was not the only one who played football on that new field. But he held me to a higher standard, and so in front of the whole team, I had to do 100 sit-ups and push-ups before we could leave. And he basically said, like, you either finish it or we're just going to leave you. We're just going to go play without you. And so I just never forget that. But Coach Ursino from West Seattle High School, man, what he taught me was that despite my talent and skills, I should still be disciplined and held to the same standard, if not a higher standard, than the rest of the people on the team, because I was a leader. And I'll never forget it, man. So
that's big time. Man, I've had a lot of good coaches in my life. There's a couple of stories in particular. So I used to play traveling baseball. My team was always super good, one of the top in the state. And I was always probably the best offensive player on the team. So hitting, base running. But I also had a lot of like anger when I played. Like I took it real serious. And one game, we're in a tournament, so we had multiple games that day. I got a hit, got on base. I was on second base, and I went to steal third base, and I got thrown out, which was pretty rare for me, so I was heated. And I went to the bench, I took my helmet off, and the coach looked right at me and said, "Don't throw that helmet." And
what'd you do?
I slammed the helmet on the bench, and I threw it and everything, and he said, "Hey, now you have to sit the next game."
Dang.
And so, though I was probably the best hitter, I was the third hitter on the team, and I stole bases all the time. He made me sit out a whole tournament game, and it showed me, you know, your attitude and your composure. He cared more about me developing that than winning. Because if he cared about winning more, he might as well let me play. But he cared more about the other stuff. And another thing was my freshman year, we had two guys, they coached football and baseball. And at first, I thought they were like super weird. I was like, these guys, like, they're always smiling. They're like super nice. Like, yeah, it was weird, but they actually like took an interest in the players beyond the game. So they would take us to Chipotle, or we would go play basketball for fun, or do whatever. And I came to eventually find out these guys were Christians, and they were trying to share the love of Christ, like, with the team. And eventually, one of these coaches, he became my leader and mentor for the next 4 years, and he actually baptized me. So,
dang.
and I actually went to college and became a coach, and mentored teens, all because I wanted to have that same influence that he had on me.
Right. So, why do you coach? You want to say some more about what do you coach? I mean, you obviously said because of the impact this person had on your life, you wanted to do the same thing for other people, but anything else you want to say, and like, what do you coach? Why do you coach?
Yeah, I'm a varsity assistant and JV head football coach at Roosevelt High School, and I work with defensive backs and running backs. And I also currently coach in the church league basketball, but over the last 2 years have also coached AAU basketball. I used to coach baseball, have coached a number of things beyond that. And why? There actually are studies that show in many teens' lives, the coach is the most influential person in their life. And they may be more likely to listen to their coach than to their parents. Now, I don't know if that's right. And when my kid is a teen, he better listen to me before his coach. But the point is, like, A, I love sports, and B, I love the opportunity to help somebody not only develop in that sport, but to develop as a young man. A lot of the guys I coach, their coaches are some of maybe the few real role models that they may know. So, you know, I want to be somebody my players can look up to. And that's why I do it, really. What about you?
Yeah, I would say for me, man, I don't know if I ever, honestly, like, I didn't pursue coaching. I've always wanted to be a football coach. I always thought maybe that would be something that I would get into later in life. How coaching fell into my lap actually was just a need. So working in the Little Earth community, at the Little Earth Boys and Girls Club, YDC, I met, Coach Muckwa, who runs the Red Bears program, and he approached me and was like, "I'm looking for coaches. I always need help with coaches." And I was like, "Okay, well, if I'm gonna coach, I can't coach little kids, man. Like, I'm just gonna be real with y'all, man. I can't." There's a special spot in heaven for people who coach kids, teach kindergarten, elementary school, do nursery and stuff like that. Y'all got a special spot in God's heart, because I can't handle little kids and runny noses and temper tantrums and.
Oh, we still get those though.
Right.
Temper tantrums.
Right. That's true. But so coaching fell in my lap. I said, okay, I'll do it. But if I'm going to coach basketball, I'd like to coach 18U. So I coach predominantly 17 and 18-year-olds, juniors and seniors in high school. This will be my 3rd year coaching, I think. My first year, we went 9-1 in the regular season. We were by far the best team in the league, but we lost in the playoffs, which I don't want to get into because I'm going to get mad. But I think this will be my 3rd year coaching. And why do I coach? It just, for me, it's a way to invest in young people's lives in a deeper way and teach them skills. I believe for specifically the game of basketball, but other sports too, can teach you traits and qualities that will last with you for the rest of your life. Teamwork, discipline, respect, how to overcome adversity, how to channel your emotions, how to keep a level head, and all of these things that, when I coach a player, it's me making a commitment over the course of that season that not only I'm going to instill in you the skills that I've learned in this specific sport, but I'm going to try to help you in whatever you need in life. Mm-hmm. Whether that's help getting a job, help, advice, mentorship, whatever it is. For me, it's almost like, it's a deeper investment. And so I work with all types of kids on different levels. But when I coach, and my players they could attest to it, it's just a deeper thing. And I'm going to take 8 to 10 guys or however many on our team. We're going to go out to eat. We're going to spend time, maybe come to my house, do other stuff where it's outside of the game. And it's like a brotherhood and it's a family, because I think that's another thing. Just being on a team brings a sense of community. Mm-hmm. Everyone's looking for community, and athletes just so happen to find it on teams. And so for me, it's like a commitment. It's like people join the military, they join a church, they join a book club, whatever they do, It's an extended time together where you're all invested in each other's lives, and it's super, super fun. So that's why I coach. Lastly, with the role of the coach, what's the most difficult thing about being a coach? If you could narrow it down to just one thing, which is probably like almost impossible, but
that is very hard to pick one thing, but honestly, here's what happened today, which is a perfect example.
Hot, fresh off the press example.
So, in our game today, it's a tie game, 45 seconds. I call a timeout. There is no shot clock. So, I tell my team, all right, we're going to hold the ball, pass it around, don't get 3 seconds, don't turn it over. For those who know basketball, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Hold the ball and get the last shot. That way, if we make it, we win. If we miss, they don't have a chance.
Right.
So, everyone's on the same page. Yeah, we break down. We go out there. They hold the ball for like 10 seconds. One dude, I'm not going to name names, but if you hear this, if you hear it, you know who you are. He took like a turnaround fadeaway like over the head jump shot with like 3 people on him and missed, obviously. And then the other team got the ball. They had like 20 seconds. Now, luckily, we won. But all that to say, one of the most difficult things is when your players, they don't trust that you have their best interests in mind. You know, I didn't drop a play because, it gave me some type of satisfaction. I drop a play because if you run this play right, it'll put you in a position to be successful.
Right.
And when guys don't believe in that and they try and do their own thing, and I think it's a bigger metaphor because I think honestly that's kind of how we are with God. Like God gives us a game plan, and then we think that we know better, but God knows you don't know better, and that's how it is as a coach. It's like, no, I actually know, and if you would just trust it, it would work. But when you don't, and you try and do your own thing, you end up doing something foolish.
Right. Yeah, that's real, man. I would say for me the most difficult thing is, again, I could pick so many things, but getting players to realize their potential in the sport and in life. The biggest thing, the reason I feel that I'm successful, number one, like for instance on the basketball court, I just believe that this move is going to work. My shot's going to go in. I've shot this 3 from the top of the key 10,000 times in my life. There's no reason it shouldn't go in. At this point, it's just muscle memory, right? I've worked on my handle till I know as soon as the defender goes one way, I go the other way. It's just all about confidence. And then even in life, confidence is such a huge thing because, I mean, you even take the podcast, for example. I could have said, why make a podcast? Maybe no one's going to listen to it. Halfway through, we're on the 6th episode. Well, maybe only a couple hundred people have heard it. But you have to just believe. Look, I'm just going to go out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to at least try. I'm going to give all of my effort, my due diligence. There's so many kids that I've coached or even seen in life that they have the skills, they have the talent, and then they get in the game and they freeze. It's like, bro, you're in the gym shooting lights out. Just 20, 30 threes in a row. And then you get into a game and there's 50 people in the stands and you have referees and a scoreboard. And next thing you know, you get the ball and you're like, what do I do? Bro, do what you always do. You've been playing basketball your whole life. But it all goes back to confidence. The talent's there, the technique, the skills, the fundamentals, it's all there. But then they don't have that confidence and they're dealing with whether it's low self-esteem or lack of confidence. It's hard, and not all of my players have low self-esteem and whatnot, but it's something that I see in the kids, some of them that I coach, and then just in general. Because, I mean, Little Earth, for instance, has four basketball teams. I can see it in each team. My niece plays high school basketball. A bunch of the kids that I work with outside of who I coach, they're on teams in baseball, football, and basketball. And you can see the kids, I even remember in high school, I had to get to a point where I became confident. Because I remember the first few times I got the ball in a basketball game or in a football game, and it's like, oh crap, now there's people in the stands, and this is real. And you can't let that moment, the pressure of that moment, take away from your talent. So for me, man, I would say it's just getting people to believe, and be confident.
Because then the thing about that, though, how do you develop that game confidence?
Right.
You have to go and play in games.
Right.
And in life, like, like we've said multiple times, people want to rap for 1 million people, but you can't get
Right.
up in front of 10 people and rap. Whether you think you're too good for it or you're scared to do it or what, how are you ever gonna rap for 1 million people? You can't rap for 10 people? But a rap
Right.
is all just an example. Like, what do you want in life? What do you want to do?
Right.
And you're scared to do it because you don't want to freeze. But the only way to develop that confidence is going and doing it.
Right.
So go do it.
One of the first sermons I ever preached, bro, was to two people. A person and their grandma. It was a Wednesday night. It was just two people. And I said, look, this might sound weird. I'm going to preach like this whole room is full of people.
Yep.
And I don't care, man. So it just is what it is. But that's the role of a coach. That's the second segment of the podcast. This is the Morning Sun Podcast. Thank you for listening. If you just joining us, what's up? How y'all doing? Hope your Saturday is going good. We try to broadcast every Wednesday and Saturday. For those of y'all that have been following, obviously we did 2 days. This is the second day in a row. Episode 5 came out yesterday because I've been busy. But also I want to try to get other people on the show. I mean, there's a lot I can talk about. I have a lot of life experience, stories. I do a lot of different things in life. But I want to also bring other people on the show that do a variety of things. And y'all can hear about it, and so it's kind of hard scheduling that too. But so we try to do it every Wednesday and Saturday, and we start on Facebook, and then from there it goes to YouTube, and then the audio will get uploaded to Spotify and Anchor FM and whatnot. But yeah, so the third segment was just sports talk. We're not gonna talk specifically about like in the past. I've talked about different NBA teams and players and NFL and stuff, but kind of just our favorite couple things. So we're going to go back and forth. We obviously love sports, as you've heard. We're coaches, different things, but we're going to start with name your top favorite basketball player of all time.
Man.
But if you say LeBron, the podcast is over. I'm just playing.
So I was thinking about it, and it's kind of a random choice, but I love Nate Robinson.
Nate Robinson, huh?
Yeah, because think of his journey. I like thinking of his journey. He obviously had a dream to play in the NBA. How many people told him, you're never going to make it? You're
right.
too short. You're too small. Go stick with football or go... Because I heard he was a beast in football.
He was.
Yeah. But, I love that story just really with anybody of people telling you that you can't, but persevering through that and knowing what's inside of you and knowing what you can do, and then just being one of the coldest dunkers and dudes ever. And what is he, 5'6", 7"?
In real life, I mean, the NBA fabricates heights, but he can't be any taller than 5'8", that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I actually played against Nate Robinson in high school in football and basketball. He went to Rainier Beach High School, which actually my best friend growing up, Carver, went to the same school as him, but they were in our same conference. The funny thing is, Rainier Beach is always one of the top high school teams in Seattle, but even in past nationally. But their school's ghetto, is janky as heck. Their basketball court was missing a piece of the floorboard during the season one time. But I remember we played Nate Robinson in high school. They came. It was like the news was there. At that time, they were the #1 ranked high school team in America. And I played garbage minutes because I was an underclassman. But it was Nate Robinson, and then the whole team besides him was 6'5" and taller. They all had like D1 scholarships. They beat us like 130 to like 40 or something. It was just insane. They could all dunk, alley-oop, three-pointers. He was also super good at football, though. He was a running back. And then, obviously, he played cornerback at University of Washington. So, yeah, it's interesting you say that. I personally, and I said this on the last podcast episode, because I was talking about Carmelo and other athletes who have been, like, blackballed from their leagues. I don't know how Nate Robinson is not in the NBA.
Yeah.
Now, is he going to be a top 10 player? Is he even a starter? Maybe, maybe not. But you're telling me the dude can't make a roster? He's the only 3-time dunk champion. He's always been like one of the best sixth men when he's in the league. But it just goes back to that. Yeah, he's short. And now people say he's old. But he's cold, man. So
Hey, you saw him in Uncle Drew.
I know,
you
man.
saw the movie.
Dude still got hops.
Yep.
What was his name? Boots?
Yeah.
Uncle Drew, man. If you want to watch a good movie, go watch. That's funny as heck.
Mm-hmm.
For me, my top basketball player of all time is tough for me, man, because I try to differentiate now and as a kid. So it's hard for me to pick one, but I'd have to say Kevin Garnett. Man, the dude was just like, people like to look at, Westbrook and how he pads the stats, and LeBron James, and now even Luka Doncic. Garnett was all that before any of them. In his MVP season, I think he averaged like 25 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, and like 2 blocks and 2 steals. For a center, basically. Or power forward, whatever you want to call him. But, and then the passion he played with, he just always gave 110%. And he never left Minnesota until it just basically was inevitable. He could have left here a long time ago, man. But I'll never forget when he won the championship and Minnesota was the first place he shouted out. And also, I don't know if he still holds this record, but at one time, after he retired, he was the all-time, he had the best plus-minus rating in NBA history. So when he's on the floor, he impacts the game higher than anyone in NBA history. And you look at defensively, in his prime, he could guard every position. He obviously was a scorer, shot blocker, whatever. But just growing up, seeing him, yeah. It was just close. Steph Curry was a close second, but...
And you kind of shoot like him.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's just by accident, but... People, yeah. We're not going to get into my jump shot, but a kid actually asked me at open gym today. He said, yo, TJ, man, your shot... When I first started coming to open gym, it was automatic, just every time, cash. What happened? I'm like, bro, I'm 31 and I'm in a shooting slump, man. So it is what it is. But yeah, so that's our top basketball players. From that, we're gonna move into top football player. Who's your top football player of all time?
It's tough, but I'm gonna go with a current one.
Current, okay.
And kind of a similar theme, but when I look at Adam Thielen, he's an amazing person. I actually spoke at an event, and he spoke at it as well, and it was cool. I walked by him, but I didn't want to be all, hey, you're Adam Thielen. I know he gets that a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But you think about basically being unrecruited, like, here's what blows my mind. You could be a top recruit out of high school. You go to Alabama, full ride, and then you have no NFL career. And then you have a guy who goes relatively unrecruited. What did he play? D2?
Minnesota State Mankato.
Yeah.
Whatever division they're in. Bro.
I know people that play there. Like,
Yeah.
it's so to go from that to being literally an NFL superstar. That you're one of the best players in the world.
That's
I
crazy.
love that because how many times do you think he thought about quitting? You know, how many times could he have said, "Man, I didn't even get a D1 offer. Man, I didn't, you know, like I should just quit." People probably told him too, like, "Yeah, I don't know about this football thing." Like,
I'm gonna share a funny story about that.
but yeah, so I shout out to Adam Thielen. You know, one of my coworkers with Minneapolis Young Life grew up with him. I would love to see him become, you know, a Young Life donor.
Hey.
If he hears this. But yeah, man, shout out to him for sure.
I've met him a couple times. Got to shake his hand. Took some Little Earth kids to meet him. Funny story. We've done work with Xavier Rhodes recently in the last couple months, and Xavier Rhodes was at one of our clubs, and we brought a bunch of teens over there, and someone asked him about Adam Thielen, and he said, you know, when he first arrived, he was just on the practice squad, and everyone was like, you know, the veterans are like, well, how long is this dude gonna last? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's cool that he's here, but
Right.
you know, but to see that growth, that's crazy. Yeah. For me, man, my favorite player, it should not probably be a surprise to anyone, but it's kind of a similar story. People think that I jumped on, so I'll just say it's Tom Brady. Okay, people think I only like Tom Brady since he started winning Super Bowls. I've liked him since he was at Michigan when he was the starter, and then a new dude came in, Chad Henne, however heck you said it. Brady's a starter. He does good. I think he leads them to like an Orange Bowl comeback victory. The next year, here comes this new recruit, Chad Henne, and then they start sharing the load, and it's just... So he's always been doubted. And then you see him, if you've ever watched the Brady 6, it's a documentary. It's all about how he was the 199th pick. All these other quarterbacks were picked over him. People you've never even heard of. Like, one dude has the most craziest Italian name. He sounds like he's like a mob hitman or something. Dude never played a single regular season game. Like, he failed in the preseason for the 49ers, and no one's ever heard from him again. All these other players where it's like, the only person that actually had a decent career that was picked above, there were 6 other quarterbacks picked above, was Chad Pennington from the Jets. And he was not like a superstar. He was just like an average, decent, maybe sometimes above average NFL quarterback for the Jets. You look at Tom Brady, people always post it every year. His draft picture, combine picture, he's this scrawny white dude, has no muscles, flabby, slow as heck, wearing dad Nike shoes when he's running the slowest 40 you've ever seen. So, like, you think of the dedication that he's put in, and even this season, like, it's like every season for the past 6-7 years, as soon as the Patriots lose a game, articles are all over as the Patriots dynasty's over. They're going to break up. Brady's going to retire. He's washed up. The dude is on the verge. I mean, they're still 10-2. He could possibly win his 7th Super Bowl. Now, I will say his coach is probably the best coach ever. So that obviously helps. But here's a dude who is not athletic. He's not fast. He's not strong. He just has a heck of a football mind and just dedication. So that's my favorite player.
But how about the most exciting player right now in the NFL?
Right now,
Yeah.
oh, gotta be Lamar Jackson.
That
I mean,
man.
whew, that dude is, like I was saying before, I think I said on one of the other podcasts, I just hope he stays healthy.
Yeah.
Because when he gets out of the pocket in the open field, anything can happen. That's usually where the biggest hits happen. So
Yeah.
hopefully he can stay healthy, and also can he win in the playoffs when it actually matters.
We'll see.
Yeah. But so that's our favorite football players. Lastly, your favorite sports video game of all time.
Oh, that's easy for me. Back in the day, I got NCAA football. I can't remember if it was 11 or 12,
Okay.
but college football, you can run option, you can do all that.
Right.
But you could do my career
Yeah.
player and
Yeah.
play his high school career.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Yep, and then play his college career. And I made my dude a quarterback so I could audible every play to him. And then basically he went on to win 4 national championships and 4 Heismans. So
The greatest college athlete in the
Yeah.
history of the world.
back in the day, things didn't automatically save like in
Oh, yeah.
real time.
Yeah.
So if I had a bad game, I may have turned off the Xbox.
You had to save it to the memory card.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yep, those NCAA games, I heard they're making a comeback. How that?
Well, athletes can get paid now for their likeness and
Yeah.
image, so hopefully, I mean, I would say that's definitely one of my top, but for me, I would say my top video game, sports anyways, of all time, it has to be Madden. I have played video games probably for like, I don't know, over 20 years. My first game system was, I think my brother Sean bought me a N64. Madden hadn't came out yet, so at that time I was into the WWE games, wrestling games. Actually, it was WWF back then. But when Madden came out, that's the only game I played for like literally 10 years in a row. Like, I didn't get into Call of Duty when it first came out. I wasn't into like, I remember SOCOM, Navy SEALs came out, all these other games. I was like, just Madden. And then my friends are like, that's all you play? That's all I play, bro. Just Madden, over and over again. Yeah, I remember in Madden, in the early ones, if your dude got injured too bad, the ambulance would ride on the field, carry him, cart him off. You could create your player. I remember when they first added create a player. I think it was like Madden 2000 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh, crap, you can create a player. Now it's so real, it's like, dang near looks like you. But I would say Madden. Back when John Madden was actually on the game. Now it's
I
whoever
got
it is.
Chris Collinsworth.
Oh, Chris Collinsworth.
I do have Madden 1990. If you ever want to play. Sega Genesis.
Sheesh. That probably got to be like the first one.
It might be.
But yeah, so that's the sports segment. This is the Morning Sub Podcast. Once again, thanks for listening. We're going to try to broadcast again next Wednesday. We'll see what type of other special guests we can get. But once this ends, we're going to put it on YouTube so you can watch it there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's other things on there. There's sermons, music videos, all types of stuff I put on YouTube. And follow us on Instagram at the Morning Sun Podcast. Follow TEN20 at TEN20 Words. We're going to end with one holiday tradition that our families hold. So if you could think of maybe your favorite holiday tradition that your family does every year, what would you say it is?
People that know me know I do have a problem when it comes to eating cookies. So
He loves cookies, bro.
I love cookies and sweets. for my whole life, my family has made pretty much the same cookies every year. And every kid kind of has like their cookie that they make with my mom. So my brother has the coconut balls. My other brother's got the peanut blossoms with the Hershey
Oh
kiss.
yeah, those are fire. Yeah.
I don't know what my sister's is. Mine is chocolate crinkles. Those are fire.
What is
they're
chocolate crinkles?
They're like little brownies in cookie form with powdered sugar. Oh, I'll bring you some.
Dang, bro. See, that's you in a whole different.
But then
place,
the cool thing is when we all get together to make cookies as a whole family, we make sugar cookies with my grandma's recipe. She passed away when I was like 5. And yeah, we cut them out in different shapes. We have make homemade frosting, sprinkles. Not homemade sprinkles.
I was finna say, y'all is. I don't even know how you do that, but hey.
But yeah, we get it, and then we bake them and decorate them. It's pretty cool. Now my nieces and nephews, they're old enough. They do it too. It's a very cool thing. So I'm now having a child soon, and hope to develop, something cool like that.
Yeah. I would say for me, man, I would say 2 things. Just because one kind of ceased when my mom passed away, but we'd always play Scrabble. Not the whole family, but those who were into, word usage and spelling but it was always fun because I would play against like the elder, seasoned, super wise people. My mom, my grandma, some of my sisters, uncle, whoever, And like as a kid, I've always loved words. I've always loved spelling. I was always super good at like writing, spelling, arithmetic, penmanship, anything to do with words. So it's probably not a surprise that I use words a lot, but it's just always been fun. And like there'd be times where I was, a teenager and I would beat, for instance, my mom or like my mom was always the best speller player. Not Scrabble player. My grandma was probably like in her prime, the second best. But I remember one time I beat them both. And they were like trying not to be salty about it. Like we're not gonna ruin the holidays over Scrabble, but and then nowadays just nobody wants to challenge me in Scrabble in my family. So if you're watching this, you ain't got a front. You can't beat me. But
do you play Bananagrams though?
I do, yeah. That's pretty fun.
Oh yeah.
I have the game.
I don't know if you want to see me in that.
I haven't played it in a while. Like I remember when it first came out, we played it a lot. But no, that would be fun definitely. But I would say now that that's kind of a thing in the past, I would say a lot of times, like for instance on Christmas, we'll try to go to like the movies as a family together. And we usually try to go to this theater, Woodbury Theater, Woodbury 10. First of all, I don't know why it's in Woodbury because most people in Woodbury are wealthy. But it's like the cheapest theater as far as price-wise. It's like $4 a ticket, which AMC is like 10 to 15. And then they have for $10 2 large pops and a large popcorn. So basically for $15, $20 you get, at AMC you can barely get in the building for $20.
And they have new movies?
And they have new movies. And they have new seats. It's a nice theater, so it's not cheap like you're going to go there and it's like just
Riverview.
trash. Yeah. It's
Shout out
cheap in
Riverview.
prices. Yeah, Riverview is cool. The only thing is, like, now that I live in Minneapolis, Woodbury's way farther. But
What is that place called?
Woodbury 10.
Woodbury 10.
Yeah, it's dope. And it's private owned, so it's not like a big like AMC and all them other ones. But just going as a family, and just hanging out as a big group, laughing. My dad, if you ever went to the movies with him, if you ever heard my dad laugh, the dude is literally, my dad has been all over the world preaching and things, but like one thing people always remember about him, besides his preaching, is his haircut and his laugh. And everyone mocks his laugh. They think it's hilarious. But when you in a movie with him, don't ever sit by him. And Dad, if you're listening, I love you. I'm sorry. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. But he'll like hit you. Hey, you see that? Did you see that? And it's like, Dad, I saw it, bro. It's right here, Dad. I saw it. He'll look down the road. Hey, did you see that? Hey, Tatiana. That's my niece. Tati, you see that? Pretty soon the whole theater's like, yeah, we saw it. So it's funny, man. It's always been fun. And we've always loved movies. So
any good movies this Christmas?
dang, Star Wars, man.
Oh,
Star Wars episode, whatever it is, the last one, man. Yeah, that's gonna be. I can't wait, bro. I don't know if you like Star Wars, but this guy says he's not a fan that big of The Mandalorian. I don't know.
Well,
But
okay. I will say.
what about
on
Baby
the record,
Yoda?
Baby Yoda is cool. It just was so hyped up. Like, to me, when things get so hyped up,
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
coming in like like I heard you in the other episode, bro. Like Matt's bar.
Oh yeah,
Bro, when something gets so hyped up to me, Barack Obama went here.
It's
and
fire.
Mandalorian, they spent $500 billion. Like, I'm like, okay. Like, it's cool, but like
Overhyped, yeah.
a little overhyped.
Thing I hate about it is you gotta wait a week. Like I haven't even watched it yet this week. I watched the first 10 minutes of the new episode and fell asleep. But I was like, what the heck happened last week? I totally forgot, bro. So I don't like when shows like whatever. And then I'm still trying to finish The Irishman. Apparently it's the movie of the year. It's on Netflix. Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Al Pacino. The thing is, it's 3.5 hours.
Is it like an Irish gangster
Yeah.
movie?
I'm like, bro, you should have just made it a TV show. I can't sit here for 4 hours and not fall asleep or get up.
Right.
But,
Right.
well, that's been the Morning Sun podcast. We want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for coming. Check us out. Follow us. Support TEN20. Buy his new album. Actual CDs in person. If you need help getting in contact with him, just message me. Hit me up. But with that, I hope you enjoy your Saturday. And we're about to get out of here. So, peace out.
If you like the podcast, go share it, go tell somebody, and comment what you want to hear about, man. Us as artists, that stuff actually means a lot to us. Go on there, comment, share, tell somebody, and thank you for having me. I'm a big fan of the podcast, so it's an honor. Peace.
All right, y'all. And Facebook, y'all the last ones to go. Go do something with your Saturday night. Adios.